Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Let me jump right into some bite down boxing talk. After a pretty dope weekend of fights, honestly, in all reality, this is one side of the bit of boxing that I tend to not really get into because it's one I don't have. I'm not privy to email. I said this before, I'm not privy to contracts, emails, text messages, private conversations, blah, blah, blah. It's two sides to every story. But now we're getting the side of the story that everybody's been looking for over the last couple of weeks, if not the last several months. But now with Tyson Fury moving on and scheduling a fight, the focus was even more heightened to see what the hell was going on with Deontay Wilder. And, we get this video. And it's pretty embarrassing. Also, as for the group of people who have who've lionized this man and voluntarily referred to him as your king, as their king. What were you really on? And I exchanged a couple text messages with the cat. Oh, it's just this is nah, bruh. When someone is just kind of playing around, and when somebody has really bought into something, when something has really switched over to something else. This whole king thing, I'm a ruler. It went to his detriment. But you saw the quotes, the tweets. So I'm just going to run into them. I got like 5 thoughts, no particular order. But one thing that's disappointing with me, to now hear directly from the horse's mouth. Damn, I meant to say he doesn't have a leg to stand on and a play on his legs. But anyway, I messed it all up. Anyway, but he said that a couple of months ago, somebody in his camp, strength guy, weed carrier, the pad man, somebody said something that he's getting, I think it was, I can't remember his name now, but he was on a couple different shows. I know I watched him on the Lion Killers channel. I think was where I heard the most. It might have been the same guy that was on True School Sports or whatever, whatever. But what he said was, he said a bunch of stuff that happened and talked around a bunch of stuff and wanted to make a big deal that Mauricio Suleiman was not present in the locker room when the hands were wrapped. That's really not all that germane to what's going on here, honestly. He should be there, but there were other personnel. And this is why I keep going to, if you really had a problem, if something really occurred, it should be taken up with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And maybe you should get some legal representation. This is why I know this whole thing is bullshit. And I'll go into that right here. But he said the real dude was, whoever his name, Jimmy something, I think. He said, oh, the champ is coming with the real stuff. He's got all this information. We're going to put all this out here. It's like I'm expecting to see something truly credible. And then this is what we got. And it's trash. It's like the same internet junk we've been looking at for the last several months. But so my thoughts were, if you were cheated, and these real injuries occurred to you, you sustained these real injuries, your health, your livelihood, everything was threatened by all of these people who conspired, colluded to allow this to happen to you. Why wouldn't you go and get free money? Why wouldn't you go and get some like I said, some legal representation and take the State Athletic Commission and file a lawsuit? I mean, some of these dudes some of these people that are involved in it, they aren't wise guys. They aren't, this isn't, they aren't street dudes. Somebody would easily roll on somebody versus going down in a major conspiracy. These guys don't, these athletic commission guys don't get paid all that amount of money that they wouldn't talk. It'd be very easy to find one person that could be flipped to bring the whole thing down. Because this would be something that had to be orchestrated and involving a bunch of people. I just don't think all of that transpired. Furthermore, second thing, speaking from a legal perspective, you saw Canelo Alvarez when this situation got messed up with DAZN and Golden Boy. He tried to get a fight, and then at a certain point, he went and filed a lawsuit. Like, what are you playing games for? Even looking at this contract situation with saying that, you know, what is this BS of you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? Why are you in social media? Why are you making a video with your church music in the background or whatever versus going and you just made millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. You don't go, even if you don't trust the circle that you already had, you don't go get another person and get some help. If you really wanted a remedy here, if you really wanted this fight, how in the hell is you on Instagram going to change anything or stop anything? This is just a lame attempt to save face with the group that's been, with his core that's been behind him the whole time. If you really had a leg to stand on, you would have filed a lawsuit. You would have filed a lawsuit to stop this fight from happening. Not send out a series of BS tweets and some scripture. Some scripture? Come on, bruh. Another thing, Bob Bennett was on ESPN. They had some comments from Bob Bennett on the show last night on ESPN Plus during the Inoue and Maloney title fight. And Bob Bennett didn't do anything but reiterate what I already said in my video when I caught some flack from a bunch of Deontay Wilder stands. You know, there's a chain of custody with the gloves. There are personnel, there are officials in the locker rooms. You know, if you want to buy into the fact that they covered up the camera in there and then went about to doing whatever they were gonna do. Come on, man. I mean, it's camera crew, it's other camera crews in there, it's people holding cameras, and it's all kind of officials in there. Now, one thing with some of the video with the glove, especially from the first fight, some of the floppy glove stuff. I'm not saying that nothing didn't occur, but in the second fight, why not address that before that? This is how bad of a look this is for your team and for you as an individual. I'm just going to go in here and just, none of that matters. No weapon form against me, I guess. No weapon form against me. You know, anything that he's doing or going to try to do, it can't harm me. I guess that's what it was. Plus, he had on his armor, so he was all good. He was covered, I guess. But, so yeah, Bob Bennett just said, hey, you know, the gloves are sealed, inspected, the hand wraps, the team is over here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So in the video, you know, he's referring to Mark Breland. This is the thing, you pointing the finger at everybody else. A disloyal trainer, thief, disloyal. You see, he's working on his acting chops. Working on the acting chops here. Now, getting into the whole rematch situation and the fights in the interim before Tyson Fury came back. I'm gonna chalk it up to the fact that, you know, here's a guy who the purses are getting bigger, the machinery is getting behind him, and he's becoming more. He has more influence, a little bit more power, or a lot more power, relatively speaking. So you go and do the Brazil fight. No test there. You go and do the Ortiz fight. A little bit of a test, but you already knew what to expect. And him and his team overlooked the fact that you lost 5 to 6 rounds or whatever in a row before you had this one moment where you stopped the guy. So again, you're not, and then it's the highlight reel and the talk of you being the most powerful puncher ever, the lethal right hand song, but you're not getting any better at your craft. You're not improving on why you lost 5, 6 rounds in a row. You beat Ortiz, who I don't even know what Ortiz was thinking in that moment. But I'm not gonna get I'm not even gonna get into that. But so then you agree to take this fight on relatively short notice. You're a fighter that's getting older. But this is also what shows me negligence and incompetence on behalf of the team. We saw the weight gain on fight night. He was like 231 or something. And we all sitting here trying to be all boxing and analytical and whatever. He's put on some pounds. He's put on some strength. He's worked on this. Nah, it looks like you really... At the core of all of this, it looks like you really thought this was going to be round 13 and you were feeling yourself and you were just going to go in here and complete what you didn't get completed in the round 12, and you cut a lot of corners. And we also, for me, I saw it in your eyes in the first round when he started walking you down. It let me know that you weren't confident in your preparation at that point. You were like, what the hell is this? Eyes all big, on the move too much. You knew that it was different. You knew that it was something different in Fury, and you weren't prepared for that. Another thing that tells me, this is the key thing right here, actually, that tells me you got caught up in your own hype. The Jimmy cat or whatever his name was from his team that was speaking with the Lion Killer cat on YouTube, after he said everything that he said, all the proof that he provided, the biopsy or the autopsy information and the dent in the head and all of that type stuff, after he talked about all of that and Suleiman not being where he said he was, like that really was a major thing. That was all the proof you needed. At the end of it, he says, well, because Lion Killer asked him something about, well, when is Deontay going to speak on this? When are we going to hear from him? And he said, well, what? And I don't know what the exact quote was, but basically he said, the one thing that you can know about the champ that I'll say for him is that he told me that this is just what I needed to get my shit together. That right there let me know that all this other stuff was bullshit, period. At the core, at the crux of all of this is the fact that you got sloppy and you got your ass whipped. Blame it on Mark Breland. Nothing at all has been said about JD's. Okay. Because he's told the company line the whole time because he just want to hold on to his job. So he really says nothing. But yeah, that's what dude said, is that this is just what I needed. I needed this moment. I needed this loss for me to get my shit together. Everything. What's the saying? I can't even think of what it is. And then lastly, so he says, I took less money to fight. I could have made more money to fight Joshua, but I kept my word with you and fought you and gave you the rematch. Again, you didn't want to do business with them. And the people that were guiding you and mentoring you and advising you, they didn't want you to help out the other team, the ops. They didn't want you to do anything to help them out. So the path of least resistance and what you thought shit was sweet, will go over here and hit this lick and get this money off beating this out of shape soft hitting dude. I'm gonna take care of him, and then I'll go back to that when I want to because I'm a king. I'm calling the shots. Blah blah blah. Didn't work out like that. And it could be the same situation, and this could be pretty common for everybody. You do what you can do, or what's most favorable to you, until you get in the right situation for the big move that's out here. You come back to it. How is it in my favor yet? Am I calling the shots yet? No, it's not. I'll go do this. And that's the reason why they picked. That's the reason why they picked Fury to begin with. That's why you called him and said when he was in his darkest place, that's why you reached out to him, because that was the one option that you had. I always was a fan, was a proponent of go on and get Dillian White out of the way. Whether or not you got to fight him over there or you can fight him here, figure out how to make that happen, get him out of the way, and put some pressure on Joshua and Hearn, whatever you can. It's going to be a situation now. I mean, Teofimo Lopez just took a little under 1.5 or whatever to fight Vasily Lomachenko. 36 minutes later, 48 minutes later, he holding all kind of power now. He calls all kind of shots now. And that's what I'm saying with the kid, with Gervonta Davis. What do you do next? At some point in time, all of these guys, Devin Haney, maybe Teofimo Lopez, he sits at the top right now, but everybody thinks that they can do all this stuff that Floyd Mayweather did his last 14, 15 fights, but you don't know what concessions he made, in what areas he made these concessions in to get the De La Hoya fight and to get the Canelo Alvarez fight. But now we got guys who don't want to make any concessions and just want to keep saying, I'm a boss, I'm a king, blah, blah, blah. And we're getting ready to see that you're going to have to leave something on the table in order to move forward. So anyway, man, this was all funny to me. Like I said, man, those that voluntarily bent the knee and kissed the ring and all of that type stuff for this guy right here, and this is how he comes back with scripture, no facts, the facts that the shit that we already have been seeing. Dude was on the show talking about, oh, just wait a minute. I'm expecting like a presentation that's blah. Anyway, I didn't went too long, man. Like I said, if this was all really, if there was some real substance here, there's a much better course of action to get some remedy in this situation and to get that fight. But you don't really want that fight. And even if you look at the even not seeing the contract, you know, if you weren't arguing something by now about force majeure or COVID or something, if you're not coming out with none of that, which would be real grounds for you to figure out a way to work your way back into this fight, then you don't even understand what the hell is going. You don't even understand what you're fighting. All these months later, and you still don't even know, your team is still behind the 8 ball and in disarray. Incompetence. Flat out incompetence. Let me get on off here, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bite down boxing, don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.